It's self-limiting. Like no one can eat too much protein. Like you can just give anyone, you know, 10 pounds of skinless chicken breast and tell them to eat too much protein. Go for it. You physically can't do it. So eating too much protein isn't really a thing. That's not like a medical condition. That's not a diagnosable problem. To be fair, we don't have any studies in humans or animals where they're fed 100% of calories from protein forever. These explorers who in the middle of winter only had super lean, starving deer and rabbits to eat, and their dietary protein percent was, 90+%. They get very, very thin and very nauseated, very sick. For any free living human who has access to non-protein energy macronutrients like carbs or fats, you will basically eventually just eat less protein and eat more carbs and fats automatically, which is what any animal will do. So you can't make yourself eat too much protein. Your body will upregulate or downregulate the production of some of these enzymes and factors that digest different foods. So you really never want to take your whole diet and just completely reverse it and flip it on its head and change it 100%, because you're probably going to struggle to digest X or Y, and you want to make more gradual changes. So you can take someone who doesn't have a lot of digestive enzymes for protein, for example, and just progressively overload them and give them higher and higher amounts. You will adapt to fit the diet that you're given. That's what humans are, this amazing survival machine, and we basically can live on any food, anywhere, anytime. Well, so kids seem to be fairly similar to adults. They actually, 1 gram per pound seems to work, like honestly, all the way from infancy on up. And there doesn't seem to be a downside to higher protein percentages. So it's not like, okay, adults should really try to tweak their protein percent up to have higher satiety per calorie and be thinner, but don't do that to kids because it's dangerous. No, that's not really a thing. So there's no particular limitation. Obviously the accepted macronutrient range for humans in general is 10 to 35%. And these are kind of pulled out of thin air and arbitrary, but you wouldn't want to go way beyond those for any human, including kids. To be fair, anytime you eat a protein-containing food, all the proteins are just broken down into the exact same amino acids. So you're going to get the same amino acids from plant foods or animal foods. The difference is in the percentage of those amino acids, right? So when you eat an animal, you've got the right spectrum of aminos to build an animal. And when you eat a plant, you've got the right spectrum of aminos to build a plant. And so, like, for example, animal muscular hypertrophy in humans, leucine seems to be a huge driver of that. And when you eat animal protein, it's about 10% leucine on average. But your plant protein is like 6% leucine on average. Basically, animal protein is a little better at building animals. You can get there with plant protein, but you might have to eat up to 1.5 times as much. Then there's also a fiber issue. A lot of plant proteins are bound up in fiber, and it's harder to extract them. So if you're really trying to scavenge all your protein from like broccoli, you're in a lot of trouble. Like, you'd have to eat enough broccoli to just die of a bowel blockage before you're going to get the same amount of protein that you just, get from a half chicken breast. So there are all these benefits to animal protein. It's way more digestible. It's way more accessible. It's got a higher leucine percentage and a better spectrum of aminos to build animals. But you can make plant protein work. And there are plenty of vegan bodybuilders who are doing it. But to be fair, they have to supplement a lot, and they are usually aiming a little higher on absolute grams of protein.
Annotated and summarized. Easy to share with loved ones. The description below the title for this video has these summary points.